Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. Quick shout out, Jay McKay, thank you for pointing this beer out to me. By the way folks, you should check him out. He's on YouTube as well. I'll put a link to his channel down below in the video description. Jay does a lot of home brewing, does some beer reviews as well. A lot of times his homebrewed product, other times other stuff, but he's always entertaining and fun to watch, so definitely check him out. What we've got here is Imperial Maple Sunday from Lone Pine Brewing. Now, Maine Maple Sunday is a fairly regular thing. Happens once a year, I think. I don't know the date, but it basically celebrates maple syrup in the state of Maine, or maple in general, because it's not always just syrup, but it's maple products. Anyway, statewide, it's fun. There's a lot of delicious stuff out there, including maple sugar, which you can use to brew beer in lieu of cane sugar, and apparently it works out really well. Just some passing thoughts. But this is an Imperial Brown Ale brewed with maple syrup, 8.5% ABV, again from Lone Pine out of Portland. There's two versions of this. There's the regular and the Imperial. I went with the Imperial because that's the one Jay had, and honestly, it's Lone Pine. Their Imperials are actually not like ridiculously boozy usually, so this should be just as good as the regular one while having that little extra kick of ABV alcohol. And all right, let's go ahead and read this here. Every fourth Sunday in March. Oh well, there's the date I was missing. So it's not a Maple Sunday, of course. It's not a date. It's every fourth Sunday in March. All right. Sugar houses across Maine open their doors for tours, music, and most importantly, a pancake breakfast with Maine maple syrup. Brewed in collaboration with the Maine Maple Producers Association, with local syrup from our neighbors at Merrifield Farm, Imperial Maple Sunday is our dialed-up contribution to one of Maine's longest-standing and most delicious traditions. Unfiltered, unpasteurized, because all good things are wild and free. All right. Oh, live yeast may settle. Okay, so I'm going to do one of these real quick, just because anytime I see live yeast may settle, I want to gently get those particulates back into the can. Now, this is a nice way of doing that. You can do this with anything that's got live yeast in it, so you don't have that clot at the bottom. Yes, very appetizing. There's a big clot of yeast at the bottom of a can. Sorry, I stifled a sneeze there. That has had live yeast in it. And there's also sometimes, with some of your more unfiltered and unpasteurized beers, you can get other types of particulates with IPAs, etc., in those cans. And the best way to redistribute those particulates without completely shaking up the brew and having it explode in your face is to gently roll it. Also, tapping the top of the can actually provides a nucleation point, which can cause some bubbles to form there, and it'll actually the nucleation point allows the bubbles to attach to other bubbles that you're tapping down into the can. I'm not explaining this very well, but it fucking works, okay? And then it helps to distribute some of that so that you're not going to get something exploding in your face. It's not a guarantee, but tapping the top of the can or the bottle can reduce the likelihood of an explosion. But maybe a mildly boozy aroma, but there is definitely a roasty, almost woody aroma. Like when you walk outside the sugar houses, those that actually use wood instead of gas heat, you can smell that wood and the combination of the maple syrup boiling, or the sap, because it's not syrup yet, boiling in the air. There's a big aroma of that coming off of this. Now, I don't know if you would have been able to see particulates in here or the yeast clot. Yummy. Because it is so fucking dark. Look at that. You can see how effervescent it is I don't know if this is coming through on the camera really well, but that LED light coaster is showing all the lovely bubbles coming up through here. I got a decent head on it too without trying too hard. That's another clue as to how effervescent it is, and that head is not dissipating very fast, but there's a huge amount of bubbles down here. But yeah, other than the light that's hitting the bubbles, there is very little light coming through that beer. It's a porter? No, it's a brown ale. Holy shit, that is one of the darkest brown ales I have ever seen. It looks more like a porter or even a stout in appearance. You know, of course, there's other characteristics that... Oh, yeah, that is definitely smoky. How's that aroma, that boiling sap? Maybe a little bit of char there too, coloring that aroma. It smells very, very interesting, and I could sit here and smell it all night. I'm not getting anything new or different that I haven't described already, but damn, does it smell good. It's making me think of fall fire pits and good times. All right. Yeah. Well, when I finally got past the foam, a surprisingly medium mouthfeel. It's not as heavy as you would expect. There's definitely an undertone of maple, a hint of char, slight, very, very slightly boozy character to it. The maple is just permeating the whole thing. Like it rests on the palate. And then after you swallow, you get the hint of the char, some woodiness, a little bit of smokiness, and then the maple comes back around again. Again, there's a mild hint of booziness. At 8.5%, you're not going to get rid of that completely, but it is just barely there, making this an entirely dangerous beer. The fact that it's so easy to drink means that you could find yourself in trouble really quick because that 8.5% is going to sneak up on you. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm getting. That medium mouthfeel and the flavor makes it's giving me the impression that it's a little bit sticky, but it's not. So I think it's because you're expecting syrup so much that you expect it to be sticky. I don't know, maybe that's a mental thing for me. But I'm fucking nuts, so. But yeah, I almost expect it to be sticky, but it's not. It reminds me of like a bourbon barrel aged maple syrup that's been in a nice charred bourbon barrel. It's to a certain extent. This is more smoky and more char than you would get from those syrups because the syrup has a very heavy sugar content. So the sweetness of that is going to overwhelm the other flavors. This is kind of like if the sweetness was less forward in a bourbon barrel aged syrup. All right, I'm drawing parallels here, but the bottom line is it's got a lighter mouthfeel than I would have expected. It's dark, it's beautiful, it's delicious. I'm not getting much more than the char, the smokiness, and the maple. but the maple is pervasive and it's there from start to finish, and it comes back around after, you know, a couple of other flavor, those other characteristics of the flavor come forward. But I'm not getting anything more than those three major things, and I probably shouldn't. I mean, it's not much else here. But I'm on the fence here, but I think I'm giving this a full-blown 5 out of 5. And one of the big, I almost put it at a 4.5 because of the fact that I've got those three major flavor characteristics, the smoothness, etc. So it's not really standing out except in the sense that I haven't had a maple beer, especially a brown ale, this maple forward, I guess, is where I'm going with that. I don't have anything else to compare it to, so it's standing out is in being unique, in being the most perfectly put together maple, imperial maple brown ale I've ever had. So full on 5 out of 5 for me on this one. You know, maybe something else will come out of the woodwork that's got that maple character and compete with it and knock it down to a 4.5. Maybe. But as of right now, it is a standout. So, anyway, that's just what I have to say about it. Hit me up down below with in the comments or the email link. Love to hear what you have to say about the Imperial Maple, Maine Maples. Imperial Maple Sunday. Lone Pine Brewing. Thanks again, Jay, for giving me the heads up on this one, man. He Snapchatted me the beer. He's showing me the label and everything. I'm like, shit. Now I gotta go find it. Folks, I do try to get any viewer suggestions on here. Sometimes I can find them, sometimes I can't. But I always make an effort, and I keep a little ye old analog backup list written down. So I'm always on the prowl for those viewer suggestions, and if I find them, I will put them on the channel. So keep them coming. Same place, email link or, you know, comments. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Pardon. Until next time, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Maine Maple Sunday is only 3 weeks. 3 weeks and 2 days away. Cheers.